And I think, part of that is like we're working really hard to make this better onboarding experience right now. And part of it was, part of the first part we looked at. Hey, Vansel, thanks for joining. Um,
Hello.
um, Part of the first part of that was like, how can we onboard someone and then actually get them to, for example, write their first text note? And then I think we even talked about, can we give them some prompts so that that text note actually reveals something in the default categories? But then the next step is maybe to get them to create their own first custom category. I know you don't like that term, or a way to make that magical sort of trigger kind of happen. I like there, nice background, Tim. So I personally, as we get deeper into analyzing audio and video, you start to learn a lot more. Like I found two the other day that I hadn't thought of before. One of them was communication. So it was like, every time someone says, I'm going to email you, or I'm going to Slack you, or I'm going to text you, that's really,
Right.
oh,
It's a
wow.
verb to
Yeah.
actually do
Yeah.
something about it. And exactly our
That's,
push,
it's
Trello, would enable us to actually do something about it, make the speech executive. It was a
I love that. Yes. And then the other one, this was silly one, was colors. I was like, oh, colors. Like that's a simple category that actually has meaning, especially if you're a designer or something like that. And it becomes very personalized again, based on it. And I think that was just one last note was our that wonderful advisor that we had sent us a message after we sent up that quarterly update. And sort of, I think a lot of things had sort of triggered in his mind. And he had said that he had been getting these long videos from the executive team to basically say, you know, um, watch these videos. And he's like, I could watch videos all day. And most of this actually isn't useful. I'm a high value employee and I could waste my entire day watching these videos. Can you help me find only the three things that actually matter to me so I can get those points? And then it's like, what are those things? He's a customer success manager. Is it every time someone mentions customer success? Is it every time someone mentions his name specifically? What are those things that would help him eliminate 85% of watch time to only get the crucial information?
Yep.
Pencil. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. So
We jump deep into this right away. Yes, just
yeah, that's what I was wondering. I thought it's like I jump in the middle of something.
We already did a little introduction, but just to redo the introduction, hello everyone, office hours 2. We will be posting this on YouTube after, and then also directly in the Speak app. So I was saying to Tim, like the goal of this is how can we make this as valuable for people as possible who watch it in the future, and hopefully, as we were saying, like this is going to be the most recent video in the Speak app in the sample media library. So these are up to date things that they're actually getting that we want to make sure that we're providing value for.
Right. Yep. Correct.
So I guess just one of the things that we actually had a little bit more of an agenda. I'm sad Lauren's double booked, so he's not going to be joining us. So it looks like it's us three today. But like one of the things that we had, because we know that we could talk about a lot of things, but it's like, what are the things that people, users, customers, or prospective customers are asking us the most? Like, how can we actually help share that information? Just to kick this off, one thing that's go ahead,
I would jump in. It's like what I see the pattern right now, because we set up a couple of system on the admin side, so we can understand what's going on the platform, right, Tyler? And what we see the pattern on the Speak AI at this moment is like people is like this embeddable recorder is like just skyrocketing. People are creating. We see a triggers almost every single day. Someone created a new recorder, or someone fetched the new recordings out of that. And Tyler, you did a great job on that. Marketing campaign is like the embeddable record is like the first page if anyone search on the Google search. So that's I think so the trigger points and the patterns we see on the Speak AI from last couple of days. The couple of people also started using the Zapier integration. So who don't know the Zapier integration, you can integrate the text notes and you can fetch your emails. Taro can talk more about that, how he's using Zapier integration at this moment. And this week we also fixed a couple of things, so you can fetch the YouTube video and other third-party videos directly onto the Speak with this sort of integrations. So that's 2 or 3 patterns. What I see is number 1, recorder, number 2, Zapier integrations, and number 3, the text notes.
And maybe that's what could you share, like, what do you think? It's amazing that we're first of all seeing this adoption, but what do you think our users, why do they find this valuable, and why are they setting these things up?
That is a very good question. And the first thought I have in my mind is like, it's like it's the first thing is like when you see the first article on the Google search, first link, you just click and see like how does that work, right? And the number two is like they can see the analytics. It's completely free right now. We at SpeakAI, we don't charge anything for the recorder, so that is also in terms of the benefit for the customer, right? They are getting the testimonials and stuff. But one thing what we restricted right now is like the duration of the recording. So we restricted with only 2 minutes, right? So if we increase that to the 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever that is, or maybe 1 hour, do we see any changes into the patterns? So that's a one part for that.
Beautiful. And Tim, maybe you've got some thoughts there, but I just think to add is like, it comes back to something that we've talked about for a long time, which is helping people with different inputs to get media into the system, and like really streamlining that workflow. Like in the past, to collect videos that intuitively and easily is hard. And now this recording, like we actually took what is a very complex functionality, and I'm very happy that our actual users figured this out without that much documentation and stuff, and have actually collected a lot of recordings, and it seems very simply and intuitively, and that part is very exciting for us, I think, as a whole team.
Yeah, just can't talk more about the user side, but we see from a couple of users, like we have at SpeakAI, we have almost 50 to 80 recordings for just from the one user. So that's something is like we see that patterns like what's going on, and yeah, even like that page we have to work on that. But it's like still it's very straightforward. It's like, oh hey guys, you can just record and you can fetch. You just share this link. That's as simple as that for them, right? So yeah, sometimes it's like how we make things complex, and they see how things are like so easy to use.
And so I'll just pull up quickly just to walk through this. Am I sharing the right screen? Am I seeing the recorder?
Yes.
Beautiful. Just to create quickly like how easy it is, like office hours, test, 2, test 2. You can choose to auto analyze, and this to me has been something really fascinating itself. Is like people are finding value without even getting the analysis. Like obviously we want to push the analysis and start to see that, but at the core level, the actual capture and then the hosting of the video is inherently valuable as well too. And now save, no recordings yet, share recording, and then you've got the ability to embed that directly actually in an application. Yeah, go ahead, Vatsal.
Yeah. Can you talk more about what is the difference for the iframe and this custom branded page? What they see as a different?
Yes, so the iframe in here is an actual embed that you can put on a site, or anywhere. You can put this in an application, and really, I'm trying to think of if I have an example of how I could show this really quickly. But allows you to take this little snippet of code, and if you have, for example, a WordPress site or any web page, put it directly on that page, and then if you send that link out, you can keep all your own style and branding and everything, and people can go and do a recording directly from there. So really powerful sort of solution in there to keep your own branding and everything and just put it into the places you want. And then the custom branded page is actually a dedicated page. So if you don't have your own website, but you still want to collect recordings, you can actually do that. And this won't let me do it because I'm already tapped into video recording, but would allow you, I don't think it's going to, I should say that. I don't think it's going to let me do it. Yeah, it won't let me just because I'm
just see a refresh a page for a second. It's like if you allow.
Yeah, I think just because we're tapped, I'm already recording on Zoom. If you're not recording on Zoom, this will automatically work, and you can either choose to record audio or video. And I don't actually know the breakdown of audio and video that people are collecting, but even that alone is a really interesting thing. If we go back, I think we should have one with our recording. It's like test recorder. You can even see, the email that came in, the duration of that, and then the date, and then you can actually check the recording as well too. And if you do the analysis, you're actually going to see all the insights there, which is just a beautiful sort of functionality and taking what something was very complex in the past and making it pretty intuitive. So just something we're really excited about and excited to be ranking on Google for and actually seeing being used as well.
Yeah, that's very crucial. It's like the one question you say, the one part at one point you say is like, what is that breakdown between the audio and video? That's very interesting to have those statistics on paper. So
beautiful. Tim, anything that you're thinking that are, questions that either people are asking us directly or things that are maybe, people don't necessarily know that are in the application or power of the application, or things that we just haven't communicated well that we think anyone who's checking out this video should actually know? He's thinking.
Question. Allow me a minute here. Well, I would say that we're not communicating well, as I have just said. I'm going to repeat myself here, but the way that we give people the ability to sensitize their own categories in our named entity recognition system, it's there. I can't formulate it right now, but so the thing is that we would like it to be crowdsourced, where not that you're creating you can always create your custom category, of course, but ability to provide examples. And well, what we have right now, 10 to 15 different categories, from arts to brands to even names of people, it's not always what is, like, it's a big investment to make, to think through a category and actually compose it. And that investment doesn't really pay off until you create a new, it's a long-term investment where reward of finding something that is very peculiar, that is adherent to a particular, as we call it, category, is
no, I think it's a good point, Tim. I think it's the interesting part we talked about. We were talking about yesterday. What was what is like I forget the exact word you said, Vatso, but like the value metric, the value metric that we're looking for. So like, we talked in the beginning with Speak, we only had audio and video. And so it was like, how much audio and video minutes are in the system? Because that means that you're investing in it and everything there. And then the second part became, okay, now we've got text. So we can't necessarily use that as the metric. So one of the things that we were then looking at was like the amount of words that are actually within the system, because it's like the transcription and then the actual text that you've written in. But then we have this sort of situation where we run into the embeddable audio and video recorder where not everyone's analyzing right away. So now we've got another gap. So now it's like, is the metric as much media files as possible, whether it's audio, video, and text? Because then we know that there's, like, as you're talking about, Tim, there's an investment made in the system, and it's a sign that there's being value built, and then there's always also knowledge being built in there too. And then I think you're saying a really valuable point here is like, we get very excited about named entity recognition and extracting all this information, but not everyone gets as excited about that, especially the technical part. But if we can reduce the friction of getting the insights back, that's what will excite people. If they don't have to think about it, but then all of a sudden something really valuable comes, that's where Speak actually grows in delivering value to our users. So I think this is an important discussion, and appreciate the insight, Tim.
Yeah. It's like the point he said is like the long-term investment, right? And what I see in terms of the business, it's like the win-win situation for the Speak and the customers too, the users too. So it's like, for example, a couple of companies in last few weeks created their categories and analyzed those media. And also Tyler spent his own time to create the categories for them. So what they see as a value, and like once in any product, like once a user see the value, the pricing usually doesn't matter. It's like we at Speak also pay for a couple of applications, which is like, sort of expensive in terms of the pricing. But what is the more important, you say, is like the value metrics. And that changed quite a lot in like every month, I would say, because we add new solutions, new features, and we have to reevaluate those things. And that was very straightforward last year. It's like, because we just had like the audio and video, and like you just have to track the minutes. That's it. But
complexity.
It's getting more complex.
Complexity, yeah.
But I understood.
Well, one thing about those,
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing about those valuation metrics is that counting how many videos or how many audio, how many words even, is not as indicative of how much value we generated with the system. We're not a library to upload and download videos. It's not YouTube, and we're instead trying to, we're delivering the value through the insights. Well, no, actually, insights are just a medium. The breakthroughs that we increase chances of getting, this is what really is valuable. And this is, how do you like measure that?
Yes.
That's a good question. And through interaction
it's a great,
could be.
But see, the equation, if you change equation, that just changes the whole perspective. If you start considering the value as a breakthrough, that will change the game. If you consider the value as the insights. So if you phrase that question differently, that will change a lot.
So what would be the question, Gabe?
Question. Like,
what would be
actually,
the better question?
So no, like the one I just want to add this one part that we talk about sometimes is we talk about data being the ground level. Like in talking about like abstraction is you upload the information, data, and then analytics, and then insights, and then breakthroughs. So what you're asking there, Tim, is like, how do we, if our metric was as many insights that we generated, great, that's wonderful. We've produced thousands of insights based on all the uploads, but how many of those were useless and how many of those are valuable? And how can we actually even measure that? That's the challenge that I'm seeing here as well too. Like there's not this interaction part.
But is that the value metric? Do you consider the number of insight is as a value metric? So let me just give you a few examples who's going to watch this video. So for example, for the Zapier, they do the different types of integrations, and their value metrics is number of zaps. So the bottom line is like grow with your customer, right? That's a close bottom line for any product, any company who are running into the market. So if you don't grow with your customer, you are dead in a year or 2 or 10 years, right? So let's go back to the example. So what Zapier does is like they have the plan and the pricing and the value based on the zaps. So when you see the more value, you are more than happy to pay for that, right? Because you want to grab more integrations through the zaps. One more example. Ristia, right? They have the value metrics as a number of videos. Like if you share 5 videos and if you're like, no, this is working, I can see more analytics, I want to share more, right? So their value metrics is number of videos, and it's just gonna grow with their customer. So is that, if we come back to the point, it's like, is there the insights as the value metrics? If it is, then we have to think in that direction. If it is not, it's like, I don't know if that's the right question we ask in terms of which insight are valuable and which are not, if that is the value metrics.
Well, valuable insights are the only ones that actually provoke you for a thought, for something that sparks a new idea. That's valuable. And
is that trackable?
Or creates action, like what you're talking about, Tim. Like if you say you actually push that, just as an example, to a Trello card, that means we produced something in unstructured data that was so valuable that an action was taken and pushed. But there's people probably, and I'm guilty because I'm talking for myself, but I'm seeing actions or needs in my own dashboard, and I'm taking that action without any indicator. There's no way for us to get that feedback that was valuable, except that I tell Vatzel or I tell Tim. And unless we have that level of interaction with our users, we're not going to know that either. There's a gap here in measurement.
Well, this is to close the gap. It's about creating a new media. So for example, as soon as you got that new idea and you have shared that with Vatzel, we're supposed to make it as easy as possible to create a note. Well, we do have that button, but to create a little, 10 seconds clip to just say, hey, well, this is what it means to me. To ease the ability to create a new media, and create here is the keyword. Creation of any kind of thing. Is it a Trello card, or is it a note, or is it a recording that came out of the dashboard? And evaluating that quite technically is just seeing how many clicks or how many interactions were made with the targeted insights. Are they intent list items, or are they a word and word cloud?
Question: what do you guys value more, or is it the same? A creation directly in the system, or an import?
Exactly. That's what I'm just going to ask that question. It's like, what is more important? Is that internal triggers or external triggers? And in my view, that's like the both things are important. It's like, we don't have to see either it's internal or external. We have to see the bottom layer. It's like either they upload or they create. It's like the source can be thousands of actions, right? Or you might going for a walk, you listen something podcast, and it's like, oh, I want to do something, I want to record and I want to share, right? Or that can be any breakthroughs. You are writing something on Speak Notes, or you maybe see something on the dashboard. It's like, oh, that is interesting. So it's like, there are 1,000 resources or more than that.
This is precisely the segmentation that we will see. If you want to share for example, if you want to share in a thought about walk and talk, you're recording a thought thanks to Justin, and you're recording that and sharing that with everybody through a post in WordPress or otherwise. This is just one of the values that our Jack of all trades offers. Now, the other value is, of course, the generation of ideas on the dashboard, and it's its own thing. So tracking all of that is important, but we just have to segment what the value are we offering. Is it the transcription, addition of transcription and getting 100% transcripts, or is it something like sharing? And this is also, so all of them are important.
It's hard, like maybe that's some of the work that needs to happen, which is the segmentation. Because again, this person, these wonderful people who are uploading all these embeddable recorders, very different value metric than their value metric is, I successfully captured that recording from my, the testimonial or student or whoever it is who are actually making those recordings. As long as that's successful and they got no complaints from the end user of that embeddable recorder, we've delivered immense value for them. So like, that's just something to think about. And then I asked that question not really knowing the answer, but like for me, creating a note internally in Speak is extremely valuable. But then also when I automatically import an email through Slack, that is extremely valuable. Like, and I know we have now more users. We have another user who has connected his email with Outlook, or his Speak with Outlook, and is automatically pulling in emails to analyze. I'm guessing that is probably as valuable for him as when he creates notes, because now it's automatic analysis and he's getting insights without even having to do anything. So yeah, I just thought that's interesting. Okay. Wow. Okay, that was fun. I didn't know that was going to be part of the discussion. I know we'll try to keep this in time here, because I know we've all got lots of stuff to do. Is there anything that you two have priorities that you want to make sure that we do touch on in these next couple minutes?
Yes. Okay, go ahead, Vasyl.
Yeah, the Q4 report, to just who might not get, or might be the new users, or who might watch this video later on. So it's like, can you talk a little bit about the Q4 report? Like, what you have published and what at Speak AI has done in terms of the business side, technical side, investment side. So what's going on there?
Yes, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up quickly on the screen so we can make sure that like there's a little bit of a visual reference to this as well too. I'm going to make sure. I never like to share on my normal browser because people see the amount of Chrome extensions I have, so I always have to go into incognito. But 1 second here, I should have this popping up. Looks like we got.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You can hear me, everything? I'm sharing the right screen again. I always get nervous about this. Yes. Okay, good.
Yes.
Q4 updates. So this was interesting. We had a little bit of a delay on this one this time for a couple of reasons, but it still got it out before the end of the month and sent this out. We send this out through our wonderful email system, ActiveCampaign, and then share it as a web page, at least a preview, and then people can actually check out the entire report. We do put a lot of work into this. This is a ton of fun every month, and we know that there actually are a lot of people who do enjoy reading this. So a little new update on the cover, and then really trying to get better every single time. So just one note, we didn't have much of a celebration about this, but January 9th, Speak was 2 years old. It's yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a big accomplishment. Most companies, it's a 90% failure rate, I believe, in the first 2 years of a business. So we've made it through a large milestone already. And that makes me very happy to be here with you guys.
That is not a part of the talk, but like, okay, so any thoughts? Where are we going for the celebration? Are we going to outside the country?
Yeah, totally.
Our question is like, is Speak AI doing anything outside the country?
We deserve something, I feel like. Yeah. Let's figure that out, because I think this has been a lot of work, and Vasyl, you and I have been banging this out for 2 years, and Timothy, I mean, it's been you've been here for quite a while now, and and we've all worked very hard on this, not just hours during the week, but I know we all think about this outside of work. We think about it on the weekends. This is not just work for us. We care deeply about this. This is passionate stuff. So I thank you all for sharing that same passion with me, and anyone who does watch this. 2 years ago, if I knew that I told Vasyl the other day, like what I envisioned from the start, and to actually have a system. I know we still have gripes with it and we still get frustrated sometimes, but it is so close. Exactly. Like it is close to this original vision. And when you create a note and all of a sudden an insight pops up and I see organized. Here's the team members that I just put in the note, and they're right there. Like it makes my heart, like it makes me want emotional sometimes, because it's like, it is extremely beautiful. And so thank you for all your work, everyone here, who has helped us along this journey. It really does mean a lot. And I think as the part of the quarterly update, just to reshare the screen, is that it's like a thank you. It's like, thank you for supporting us. And like, we're still here. We're still doing this. We're working hard, and won't spend too much time on this, but I think there's been some really interesting parts that if anyone's actually interested in sharing reports or is watching this more from their own perspective as a company, is that we've learned a lot. This is only our, I believe, issue number 3, but because of the feedback that we've gotten, we've actually learned a lot. So one of the things is like, do a little summary of the company right at the start, even if the messaging is actually changing, even if anything is shifting. That helps people just get a reminder of like what you're doing, and if you are making any changes, it just has a little bit of that impact. And then I thought, and one of the amazing recommendations we got from a wonderful man named Ricardo Wagner from Microsoft, who said, put testimonials at the top. Like, don't keep talking about yourself. Talk about people who are actually using the platform and paying for the platform and what they think of it. And so to have some really awesome testimonials, that was really exciting. And it just helps people also format the what this actually is. And then a couple, won't spend too much time, I'll share this page out under the actual video, but like, we saw an awesome increase in revenue. So that's always wonderful as a business. That's always a great thing to see. I know a lot of that coming through software, and of course some other stuff coming through analytics implementations and stuff, but it shows that there's an adoption and trust with us, and we're going to continue to grow that. And then I think all of us were excited. Over 40 countries that have actually signed up for Speak, and that's a really exciting part that we see here. Like, I didn't know that. And that's a lot of people from a lot of places. Hello to everyone from different countries who's tuning in this or who's actually seeing. A couple of things that, just feature a basis there, but then also, talked about this, interview that we had with Y Combinator, which was an amazing moment. Pretty chilling story of like exactly a year later, getting the interview, going through that process, preparing it for it, hearing these horror stories of like, these interviews are the worst 10 minutes of your life that you're going to ever have. And then I'll never forget doing the interview and seeing 1 minute. And I'm like, oh, we're 1 minute into the interview. And it was like, no, there's 1 minute left in the interview. And so, like, amazing moment that I'll never forget. And, even though we didn't, they didn't ask us to come, we got some incredible feedback. The interview actually went well. And I think it was an amazing learning moment. Matt, I'm not sure if there's anything you want to add there.
It was the great learning lessons. And like, just want to touch upon what you said is like, Speak Ad go through the OKRs every year. And we also did on the 22nd October 2019. And on that day, we wrote on the whiteboards, like, we will apply for the Y Combinator and see if we can crack the interview for that. So, and at the same exact after next 1 year, on the same October 22nd, 2020, we received an email from the YC for the interview invitation. So that sees the commitment, that sees the discipline, that sees the, it's like how much we at Speak, everyone is working hard to provide the solution and the solve the problem for the users. So that means a lot.
Beautiful. And I think it also comes down to that. And I know, Timothy, you have a lot of love for this too, but just like the power of writing and like manifestation as well too. It's like putting something down and then like seeing that come to life and doing that intentional work. And I know as we've done OKRs, sometimes it feels like a lot, but every single quarter we've gotten better and more precise and deliver and prioritize what we're doing better. And that makes me very excited just to see moments like that, where it's like, sometimes you're like, is this even working? And then it's like, you have something like that. So I won't spend too much more time on that. Check out that page. I'll send it out. But just like, thank you everyone who's allowed us to, even get this far with, with everything that we're doing. We put a lot of work into software, and it's hard to do sometimes, but we're here still. I'll send a link out. There's a doc send link too with the entire report if you want to check that out. But thank you very much, everyone. Okay, got a couple more minutes left here. I have a couple things that we maybe won't get through all of this here. Let's try to keep this 12:45, so we'll keep it 45 minutes today at the latest. And when I'm looking at that list that we talked about, so there was UI and UX, what Tim and I talked about a little bit, but Tim, I don't know if you want to talk anymore. There was Vatsal, you've done some pricing research. I'm not sure if you want to share any insights on that, but very fascinating stuff. And really, there's only one other part about help a reporter out, which I'm interested in, but might not be as valuable. The only other thing that we didn't touch on, Vatsal, was this transcript editor. We're asking
Yes,
quickly
I was
about,
coming to that point.
yeah, so maybe, Vatsal, do you want to talk about this? And I'll actually share
Sure.
the screen so we just to show that update in the transcription editor, and see how that actually works, because this has been a question and frustration that we that we've actually had.
So let's start with the frustration here. So like if you go to the transcript, and we have more than 550 users now, and the first question sometimes we get is like, can we edit the transcript on Speak AI? Do you guys provide that functionality? And we were so smart. We gave a feature. It's like, hey guys, just double click. It's like just double click and you can edit the transcript. And that and we end up, it's like that was the dumbest decisions we ever made. It's like, we are living in 2021. We are giving like double click and update the transcript. That was so simple, right? And it's like, no, you have to make things damn simple. Put the buttons, put the labels, so they can understand how the system works, right? It's like, yes, sometimes you have to be a smart, but sometimes you have to be I don't know. It's like, yeah. So we put a button called edit transcript on top of the transcription, and Tyler just click that. If it is a longer video, it might take a couple of seconds. But here, Timothy has like done amazing job. You can see on the left-hand side under the video player, where you can go over and play, pause, forward, backward. And there's one more thing I would love to cover here. Who's gonna watch the transcript editor part is like the loop. So the loop concept is like, if you are editing any sentence, it's gonna just keep playing into that loop. So you can loop on and off, so you can make sure that whatever you are transcribing is perfect. And let's jump onto the Tyler on the speaker part. So what you see is like spoken by to, so that's a system identify the speaker ID, and you can assign, let's say, the Tyler Bryden, because it's like speaker. And if you enter, it will ask you to change all the names from to Tyler. And if you say yes, you can see all the number 2 will change to the Tyler Bryden. Do we have any more?
Yeah, let's see.
Sure, let's try number 3 or number 1.
Yeah, we've got see lots of number 3s. This might be someone else, but just because yeah, there we go. Beautiful.
Yeah, perfect. And you can see total 369 speaker change from 3 to Tyler Bryden. So it's sort of a long transcription, almost 1 hour long video. And a couple of things over here to say this, like if you go to the find and replace, that's the easiest thing if you are trying to replace any specific name, any company details, or let's just search Tyler and just search find. Yeah. And you will see total 8 matches. And we are still working on that, where you can go and drag and drop, and you can see all the where is exactly Tyler is mentioned. So we are still trying to improve every single day the transcription, but we always think about what is the first thing we can give as a value to our users. So this is the part. And if you want to add the transcription, we have beautiful plus button, so you can add if you want to break down the transcription into the small start time, end time. If you want to merge, let's say, okay, Justin, if you want to merge with the sentences, that's also you can do by deleting that card. And the last thing I want to cover is like, you can see that black play button, Tyler. It's like, if you guys click that, it's gonna play into the loop, Justin, how I'm doing and how are you again. It's like that part. So yeah, I think so. Timothy, you want to add anything?
Timothy was a huge force behind this. So Tim, if you have any thoughts that you want to add, like, thank you so much for building this. This is a beautiful, beautiful system. It really is incredible.
Well, I'm glad it does. I'm glad that we do have customers for this, and that it's actually useful. The only thing I was more than excited about is to actually scale it up, and our human transcription service is something that enables you to do just that, is to just outsource it. If there is nothing to, if there's nothing to be embarrassed by in your media, I tested that on one of my personal home videos. Now that wasn't but it was embarrassing before the person who gave the feedback later. Anyway, if you have no problem with sharing your videos, you can easily transcribe that, and providing additional fields like speaker names would enable a remote workforce to a human person to actually know what is your name, and so the transcript will perfectly will indicate that. And glossary is something that I did find to, you know, many things that we say between accents and I mean not only accents but really the styles of speech are different, and I found Tyler, you speak like a true Canadian, and it's such a
So Timothy, just want to ask you that. So how for the users this glossary part can help, and how the speaker name? So how they can add? They can add into the random order, or like, you know, how does that work? Can you talk more about in that direction?
Sure. Well, the order part is important because, after all, names might sometimes be feminine and masculine, meaning that you don't really know who's speaking first, and in the media as it goes. So the order is important. You may as well start with somebody who's, if you do not really know, start with somebody who hosts the interview or whatever the type of media it is. It's better to start with the name with the name of the person who spoke first. With glossary part, brand names are often, especially if it's not a really well-known company, may be missed out very easily. So it's worth saying that Speak AI is spelled Speak AI and not any other different way. And actually, Vatsal, but if you know that you're utilizing some custom wording or keywords that you're utilizing in I know a couple of families who have like 3 languages. They just speak through German, French, and English, and all together, and half Norwegian, and it's all just mixed up, and they talk. And I'm actually interested if we'd be able to. We have desires to support many other languages and be more inclusive to our customers, but it's in the roadmap.
Right.
Additional instructions is something that, of course, you can mention that not to transcribe anything that somebody just shouted in the background, or just the other person if you don't really love that person. No, that didn't came out very well.
And like, Timothy, is it mandatory to input this field if like someone want to transcribe the media, or like it's like just the optional at SpeakAI? Like, is it mandatory fields when you confirm and pay for that?
None of these fields are required unless only the speaker name, because at least one person was talking, or even if it is not a person, and if it was a Siri or Alexa, please put it there.
There you go. And I mean, just to add, like, what we're actually trying to do, and I think I can stop sharing that there, is like, you know, we're trying to improve the accuracy of the transcript for the final outcome that you get back. So trying to make it as professional as possible. And there are real people on the end of this. So you're actually helping people have a much more enjoyable, easy, intuitive process to get that final accurate transcript. And not only the transcript, but once you get the transcript back, you can reanalyze it and everything becomes more accurate. So it's really good for, publishing professional content that's accurate, but it's also for, cleaning data sets for analysis or real research. And that's, what we believe is, very exciting. And I think just to add is like, we've done a lot. This is a pretty complex process, but we have done our absolute best to make it as intuitive as possible. It automatically calculates the rate, how long the media is. That's what generates the pricing. Then we know how long it's going to actually take the human transcriber, and we built everything around that. And so this process that used to be very difficult, and maybe that you would only get a very simplistic, for example, Word document back. Now you get the power of Speak in this amazing engine with also accurate transcriptions, all in this, very intuitive way. So it's a huge addition to our system. I'm very excited about, and maybe we'll cut this clip and share this out specifically, because this is
just add one more part onto the transcript, right? Is like the question you might ask is like, why should I transcribe? Why should I request for the human transcription? I already paid for this automatic transcription. And a couple of things you might wanted to go through that flow is number one is like you want to, what Tyler says, like you need more clean data set, you need more clean the insights from the transcription, right? There might be sometimes because of your accent that the company name, the person name might reflect a little bit off. So that might help you to get more insight. The second point, you might need the human transcription, because if you want to share on the WordPress, or if you want to generate a report, if you are putting in your research, if you are putting in your, it's like the company UI UX research or any stuff you are doing. So that helps you a lot to get more accurate transcription with the speaker identification. And the third part is like if you publish on the, let's say the WordPress, you can put below the whole transcription. So, and if we will cover the WordPress part, we already covered into the first the group, but you can put the whole transcription below your media. So that helps you a lot with the pure insights. So these are the couple of reasons why you might be interested to try that solution. So yeah, if you want to add anything.
No, I think that's good. And I think what we'll do once everything, maybe in the next office hours, we'll do a screen share of the setting up that WordPress integration, because that is beautiful and powerful, and doesn't make just speak the input system, it makes it the output system for publishing and content. And like you said, the embeddable player and then the transcript has a ton of benefits for users who are trying to grow or make media more interactive or just accessible. And so that's all wonderful. We are at 12:45. So we did a good job here. Is there anything? I have lots of things I want to talk about, but just I think this was much better than our last one. I think we're getting better at this already. Tim Vatzel, is there anything else that you just wanted to wrap up and say for office hours number 2?
Timothy.
We need to do more AR, but next year.
What is AR for anyone who doesn't know?
It's augmented reality. We were thinking about space. There is much to say about our abilities as humans to process information spatially instead of, reading it off of a screen and visually indeed. But visual processing of information, we already sort of looked into this with data visualization and did our best to show the insights that really on the dashboard in a very perceptible way. But at the same time, there is very little of this sort of procession off of that, and to really improve that radically, not just to enhance it slightly, is to jump into another medium, into space. And if we do have a platform, and Vatzel owns a Quest 2, which is quite a game, yeah. And we would, and on the technical side, we would love to actually go ahead and play around with that, because arranging notes in space or even replaying some of the notes with environmental impact played upon you, it's just something that is in our dreams. And if you have any ideas or feedback, it'll be great to hear from anybody who owns any of AR, mixed reality, extended reality, or augmented virtual reality headsets out there. Developers would shout out to us.
Yeah, that's a very good trigger point to one of our next office hour. It's like Speak AI AR product, and that's one of the reasons. I personally invested into the AI. Is like, yes, that's a direction we want to go. It's just like the time, and we are gonna have the AR product. I don't want to commit any timeline, but probably soon. That's what I wanted to say. A lot of thoughts. Our team of you already covered quite a bit on that, and that might be we will cover in the future office hours about the Speak AI AR product.
I'll just add, my view on this is, I want this as soon as possible. I love this stuff, and there's just what Timothy talked about is this spatial part, and I felt it with this Half-Life game we've been playing. Is it's not you're just viewing, you're feeling. And we talk about that ultimate goal of Speak, which is breakthroughs. I think that's how we get so much closer to unlocking breakthroughs, is you feel the impact of it. And so that gives me goosebumps. It literally makes me so excited. And thank you for bringing that up, Tim. Wonderful, wonderful thing. Vatzel, one last tease here. You showed me something yesterday that I'm very excited about.
That is just a surprise for our users, and they might be, So do you want me to talk about in that direction?
What do you think? Do we wait one more week? Oh, wait, we can wait more. We're leaving them hanging. Okay, all right, we're not going to talk about it today. There's something coming that is very, very exciting. So anyone who watches this, we'll talk about this in the next office hours. I can't wait. I'll shut up before I reveal anything too much, but it is wonderful.
We will cover what is that. It's completely free. We are not going to charge anything for that, and it's so useful for you. I just add a little bit more details about that. It's completely free. Number one. Number two, it's a one right click, and you can fetch anything onto the speak. And that's what I only can say. We'll see into the next office hours what is that. So make sure you watch the next office hour video and don't miss that.
Timothy, don't ruin it. I see you opening your mouth. Do you even know? Does Timothy even know? I don't know.
I have no idea, but but I can guess here.
Okay.
My guess is that it's.
No!
I'm not gonna reveal anything here, but this is something that may enable users like me and you to incorporate speak into their workflow without changing it too much, and experience the impact of speak through everything that you're doing already.
Yep, that's a very good way
That's
to
perfect,
look at.
Tim. Perfect. No more. Okay, we're done. This was a wonderful office hours too. I'm going to shut off this recording, but thank you to anyone who's watching this, tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Thank you very much for all the support.
Thank you, everyone.